What is up, everybody out there? We just got back from Austin, Texas, and I wanted to get together with Stick's intern today and go through what we learned at Permissionless. It was an amazing 3 days of content. Whoop, got myself on there. Let me pause that so I can have some breathing room here. But we had such an amazing time. We wanted to share it with all you guys out there and give you the gist of what went on, and also too what's going to come up in Permissionless 2024 in Salt Lake City coming up next year as well. So this is the world's largest DeFi conference. We had a great time. We'll go through a lot of what happened and what went on, and just wanted to bring you guys up to speed. But before we do, Stick's intern, why don't you introduce yourself and let people know what you thought of Austin?
Yeah, so hello, I'm Sticks Intern. You can find me on Twitter at STYCKS Intern. And I am a DFK meme generator, and I produce a weekly show called Office Hours on my YouTube channel. And this time at Permissionless with KP, it was awesome. I mean, the first day had really great things. The third day had really great things. I'm sure we'll get into the details of it, but I felt like there wasn't a dull moment throughout the conference. There were so many interesting panels, and I'm excited to just kind of recap our favorite moments.
All right, well, let's get our big faces off the screen so that you guys can see. I took camera roll of everything that went on during the conference, and you guys can see exactly what it looked like, what we did. There was like over 60 different sessions, and I probably attended about 40 of them. It was so much fun. But the exhibit hall was full, just chock full of all kinds of exhibitors, including this Imaginarium that we got to walk through, which was absolutely killer. And, you know, it was a action-packed couple of days. I got there early for the hackathon, got a chance to meet a lot of developers, got a chance to work on a couple of Ethereum projects. And, you know, the amount of people that were there and the amount of content that they packed into the 3 days was just outstanding. You can see David had a remote interview with Vitalik, so got to talk to the man himself. That was really, really cool. But there were so many other amazing panels that happened. Sticks intern, what was your favorite panel that you saw during the conference?
Ooh, that is so tough to pick just one. But if I had to pick, I would say the panel that had Congressman Tom Emmer and Hester Peirce, and the regulatory panel that was the cap of the general session on day one. That was just so good. And I felt like the speakers there, it was awesome knowing that we have people in the, at least within the political bodies, right, who are aligned with crypto values and are willing to even advocate for voting for someone who is like a member of their opposing party if they share crypto values. And I feel like that is so rare to see today. And it was good to see it on display there, and understanding that some lawmakers actually do get the space.
Yeah, definitely. The panel that they had with Tom Emmer, I thought was just so outstanding, guys. I mean, it was really, really cool. It was led by Ryan, and he asked some probing questions, and Hester Peirce answered, along her views. They're not necessarily the views of the SEC, but Hester's views are just so spot on when it comes to choosing your elected leaders, making sure that you have the same alignment with that. And even Tom Emmer said, it doesn't matter if you vote for a Democrat or Republican, just like Sticks intern was alluding to, vote for the person that has the same values as you do. So it was nice to see no red, no blue, just a lot of crypto, guys. So super cool. But even when you got into the breakout sessions, I thought, which were awesome, we had a chance to sit through this amazing session coming up right here, which was Jason and Michael from Blockworks and Ryan and David from Bankless. And it was just so cool to listen to them talk about making content for crypto and how it was, 3-4 years ago and how it is today. But what did you take away from some of these breakout sessions?
Well, this one in particular, since you have it on screen, I felt like this one was awesome because they were definitely the most interactive with the crowd of any of the smaller breakout sessions that I attended. And it was so cool to see just hear the story of how these guys started as like basically just producing podcasts in really janky conditions, and now they're these thought leaders in crypto and have just assembled these crypto institutions for getting reliable information about what's going on in the space. And then aside from that, oh look, there you got me ordering at the bar. aside from that, I really it was really inspiring to hear the panel on the final day that I attended, where it was the general counsel from Ledger and a member of the Blockchain Association as well. I believe they're director of government affairs, and those guys are talking about how we have a battle up ahead of us this fall in Congress, and just with not litigation, sorry, with legislation on the horizon that is, potentially harmful for crypto, and be ready to write your senators on that. When it comes to the technical sessions, the how the technology works, I really was blown away by the diversity of opinions they had there. They had Solana people, they had Cosmos people, they had Ethereum people talking about their different kind of strategies for the future. And one other interesting thing was that in nearly every panel, regardless of topic, friend tech came up.
Yeah, definitely. There was a lot of people that were into friend tech, a lot of things that were happening. The one thing that we always take for granted being at these conferences is you get the chance to meet the people. You get a chance to see who's there and who's behind the scenes. And guys, there's so many after parties. I did just a little brief overview, but there was like 4 or 5 events going on every single night that we attempted to just get to and to get a chance to meet different people from different walks of life. And then the very last party, I think, was just so amazing. I mean, that was for the Bankless DAO, and Sticks Intern was kind enough to get me into that one, talk to David Hoffman directly about, getting us in, and we got a chance to just hang out with 50 or 60 really cool, down-to-earth crypto personalities and people that are building and people that are just moving and shaking in the space. But yeah, that was so cool. Just all the after parties that happen at these and all the people that you meet that you never otherwise would have just because you attended one of these events. It was so cool. But yeah, there was so much going on. What was your favorite after party?
Well, I mean, I hate to sound repetitive here, but it couldn't be better than the Bankless DAO after party, because it was just a smaller group session. I don't even think there were 100 people there, whereas every other place, like on night one, there was a bigger Bankless hosted event at a bar, and it was packed to just like standing sardines in a can almost on the top level of this 3-story bar. And so that was also cool just to see the number of people showing out to these after events. But at the third day one, it was like a cookout. A member of the Bankless DAO made this just magnificent barbecue that he spent apparently like 14 hours preparing. And I got to cheese it up, taking a picture with the Bankless guys who kind of started my crypto journey off with one of their episodes about Hester Peirce when I was doing a research project for work, actually. So that, and at that party, I feel like I got more contacts and more valuable connection with those contacts through like one-on-one interaction and talking to them about more than surface level conversation than I did at any other point throughout the conference.
Yeah, those parties. I mean, that after party that we went to, that we had a chance to get a chance to meet David and Ryan and hang out and take pictures with everybody. That was just so cool. I mean, I can't believe that we actually had, these are the people that you see every day on YouTube that are just making amazing content or advocates for the space, and just getting a chance to hang out with them and, just on a personal level to, get a chance to eat with, just that amazing barbecue. I think it was JT who made it all. And it was just so awesome. It was just the cherry on top of the sundae. I mean, it was a great week of events and people. We both highly recommend you guys, if you get a chance to attend the next year's Permissionless, which I'll show you here in a second. It's going to be really cool as well. So, I mean, the permissionless content that's coming up is just super awesome. I want to pull up the screen here just so Permissionless 2 just got over with, and that was what happened in Austin, but we got Permissionless 3 coming up, and both Sticks Intern and I were really on Twitter. We were going at it hard during the conference, getting you guys a chance to see what's going on, but this just popped into my Twitter feed today, which basically is the chance for you guys to get out there and get your Permissionless 3 tickets for the same price that we did, which is $199. So, if you're not familiar with this, the Permissionless goes up tremendously over time. You can see from this year's, the general admission ended up at almost $1,200. And even if you're a Bankless citizen, you had to pay $800. Students are great. So if you want, you can get one for $99. And then the hackathon, if you're a developer, you could get in for free, or Permi ticket holders as well. I'll leave the link down in the description below, guys, so that you can get out there if you want and act on this Permissionless 3 bargain. I mean, $200, it's awesome. And if you don't go to Permissionless 3, look, I've already got my ticket. I went out there and I paid for it. I know, Sticks Intern, you got your ticket as well?
Yeah, so I actually just got mine at the event because they had a kiosk, like not a kiosk, but like a little iPad set up at registration on the second or third days, just saying, hey, you can get them right now. They're cheapest they're ever going to be. And I sold next year, Salt Lake City in October, no problem. I feel like we talked about this while we were there, KP. The amount of free food and drinks they gave us just at like the primary sponsored events from Permissionless, like the bar crawl, and all of the food that they gave us even on the first night, it was like we got way more than $200 worth of value just on that. That alone justified the expense.
Definitely. I mean, you guys got to understand that not only did we get the awesome conference and the 60 plus sessions, the general sessions and everything that was going on, but we got food and beverages all day, every day. And so it was a well worth the snacks and the chance to meet everybody, the chance to hang out as well, the chance to do everything. So go and get your tickets. If you haven't already, get your tickets. Come hang out with us. If you haven't done that, get your tickets to ETH Denver. That's the other thing that's coming up here, guys, is that ETH Denver 2024 is going to be at the end of February and March of next year. This conference is absolutely free for attendees, and this has got some of the most incredible speakers. Just a huge, huge event. 25,000 people were there last year. I'm expecting probably the same, if not more, this year. But yeah, we had a great time at this event as well. Got a chance to meet everybody, hang out, get a chance to talk to just amazing people that are building in the space, and you know, all the crypto influencers that you never otherwise get a chance to see. You can take a look. The Build a Week is happening, you know, February 28th, end of February. Then the main event starts February 29th through March 3rd, and then the mountain retreat after that. So if you get a chance to attend these events, would highly recommend it. I know that we're both probably going to go to 3XP as well next year. Are you planning to attend any of these as well, Sixth Intern?
Yeah, so I'm trying to make plans for ETH Denver, just confirming it with my my trial calendar, honestly, and then yeah, the rest of them I think are pretty much a lock with 3XP and Permissionless this year. Hopefully I can get more people to come out. But I actually have a spicy question for you, KP.
What's up?
Where do you think Permissionless needs the most improvement? Because I have my answer. I want to hear yours first, though.
Definitely. I think that, you know, from what we saw and what we did and everything that went on, the biggest thing I think they could change to make it a little bit better on my perspective is to, have it more, I guess it would be more specific for the pass that you want on the breakout session. So they had some decent, it was the cultural tract, it was the financial tract, it was I forget the other one, institutional tract. Yeah, those were good, but I wanted to get more into the weeds when it came to, even the media content, getting a chance to chat with some of the speakers and do those things. So I think that once people have those little interactive sessions, it'd be nice to have an extra maybe 10, 15 minutes to go up there and ask the specific questions, because every topic that they had, I could have just probably watched for a lot longer and got a lot more in depth than I did. It was just kind of brushed over the topics and didn't really get into the meat and potatoes, didn't go down the rabbit holes as deep as I thought, as I wanted to. But that was just my one little criticism. I like to have a little bit more time to chat with those speakers and get a chance to have those Q&A sessions. How about you?
No, I think that's a good idea on Q&As. I had been feeling in every session that I wanted to ask questions, but I didn't even think of your idea there. Yeah, I agree with you that Q&A should be added. For me specifically, I think my original answer is kind of just a specific version of your general answers. I thought the Web3 gaming content was like really surface level and didn't really add to the conversation in any way for anyone that's like really following Web3 gaming very closely. And not to say that the speakers were bad. It's just, I think it was a symptom of, the relatively short time frames. And, to some extent, I felt like a couple people were just, overly discussing kind of like what we saw in Next Crypto Gem this past week. Some people were overly discussing their project rather than the topic, which was, less informative than I would have liked. And so I think really though that's a symptom kind of what you were just saying, where a lot of this stuff would maybe just cut down a little too small in some areas, like particularly sessions that were only 20 minutes. There were a couple of those.
Yeah, yeah. I just I thought that, for the most part they hit on all of the main topics extremely well. The interviews were good. I really liked the panels that they had, and even the ones I thought I wasn't gonna like as much, like the Cosmos, Solana, Optimism panels. I was like, well, can give it or take it. But when sitting in on those, half an hour, 45-minute talks, I just got a chance to learn a lot more about Cosmos, and even Anatoly's answers about Solana I thought were really informative. I know he's a big open source guy, but I didn't know how big of an open source guy the Solana ecosystem actually is. If you guys do or don't know, MakerDAO is taking the Solana virtual machine and forking it so that they can use it in their own project. So, and Anatoly was all for that. He's like, yeah, definitely. It's open source. Take it, use it, do what you want with it. Not like the typical founder that's fee-based that said, no, you got to come and build on our chain so that we benefit from it. No, he's just like, this is code. Go out there. Everything should be free and open. Go use it. If you love it, build on top of it, make it better. And that's the really cool portion of this, is that you get a chance to see people's true stripes or true colors come out. And when they're up there on stage and it's a little panel of 3 or 4 people, there's no place to hide, especially when the tough questions get asked. And I thought that at some points they nailed them down pretty well. It's general, and it's, nobody wants to have that gotcha moment, but it was fun to see, just like from Erik Voorhees' keynote speech, about like how we really need to question our leaders. And, people can't just sit there and take it for granted, because our liberties get throttled away, every single year. There's a little bit more. And you as an attorney, I mean, this is, becoming the time when people need to step up and kind of question, why is it that these laws and why is it these regulations are becoming more restrictive? They should become less restrictive, allow builders to go out there and build, right?
Oh, absolutely. And if someone wants a more deep dive discussion of this very topic of like how did the laws get to the way they are right now, Bankless just this week put out an episode called Surveillance Finance 101 with 2 guests who are just really long time experts. Like they've been working as lawyers in the field of the financial surveillance regime in one of them, like before it even became what it is today. And they talk about it and it give great detail. And, as far as everything that they've said that I was familiar with was accurate. So, I mean, I have no reason to doubt what they're saying. They sounded very well educated on the topic, and I'd highly recommend it if anyone wants a deep dive, because yeah, that Erik Voorhees keynote speech was, inspiring, right? And it really just teaches you kind of how far some things have gotten from the original values of these nations we've set up. And so if someone wants a deep dive in the specifics of surveillance in the United States banking system, highly recommend Surveillance Finance 101 with Seth Hertland and Michael Moser on Bankless from this week.
Awesome. Yeah, that's great. You guys, you need to get out there and pay attention to what these guys are saying. I mean, there was 4 or 5 different podcasts that the Blockworks guys do every single week. And then the Bankless guys are putting out content every single day. So you've got to like pay attention to the space, what's going on, what's happening. I know that you specifically got a chance to talk to some of the firms that were there in the exhibition booths. And if you guys don't know, Sticks Intern works at a hugely prestigious legal firm that is worldwide, and he basically got a chance to talk to people about litigation, what's going on in crypto, how to stay out of litigation, but if you do get stuck in it, who do you turn to that's going to help you out? But what did you learn from some of the conversations that you had with some of the exhibitors on what they're doing to mitigate their liabilities, and what you can help them out with in terms of if something was to come up down the line and they needed your help?
Well, yeah. So, I mean, just generally speaking, I am a litigator, right? So I just know very well the rules of civil procedure, and that's how to do a lawsuit. The topic is, somewhat tangential. I become kind of like an expert in the very narrow focus of whatever my case requires. And a lot of these companies that I saw, there were tons of booths advertising kind of like insurance products for DeFi protocols or risk management solutions and audits. And anytime you hear words like that thrown around, You just know that one day there's probably going to be someone suing over that. So I was talking to these people, and they agree that there's a risk of it. But to be completely honest with you, that's not abnormal. That's a really normal thing, and just even common insurance claims today. People file lawsuits over it all the time. It doesn't necessarily mean anything bad about the company, and companies actually taking steps to ensure risk are good, even when they get sued and their insurance has to cover it. That's kind of like the whole purpose of insurance. And so I was talking to these people, and there were a ton of them. It just kind of blew me away how many there were. And then aside from those kind of companies, I got a chance to talk to the panelists who I had mentioned it was my favorite breakout session, particularly the gentleman from Blockworks and Ledger, or not Blockworks, excuse me, the Blockchain Association. And I'm just totally spacing on the names right now, which is embarrassing. But either way, I got a chance to talk to them, and like one-on-one before their presentation, just because they were sitting in the hallway, and they really were emphasizing that there needs to be some kind of litigation that curbs a lot of what's called the third-party doctrine under the Fourth Amendment, which is what allows the government to request records about you from someone else without a warrant, right? Because they're not going to something, they're not taking something that's private. You've given it to someone else. And in the way that the banks are structured, you are kind of, in the modern society before crypto, required to give all of this information to the banks. They're required to record it, and the government is allowed to search it because you gave it to another person, right? So it's kind of like a catch-22 situation there. And we were talking to them about how there are also First Amendment issues that need to be resolved. And a lot of that's really topical to me, because in addition to business contracts, I also do, constitutional litigation. I've done First and Fourth Amendment cases. So that really just hits right to not just my interest, but my passion. So that was really great for me. And I really good to hearing that people, there's room for me to come make a difference in this space, possibly, hopefully one day. But I just need to find, someone who needs help.
Yeah. It was nice too to hear them talk about some litigation cases and what went up, especially with Uniswap Labs and them winning their case, basically saying that it's a platform, it's a DeFi platform, and you can't, sue somebody for if you make a mistake and purchase coins, on your own through a platform that basically just allows that type of thing. And then the other ones, that went on with the various entities that are out there, but having a good insight into what the courts are ruling is a big deal when it comes to this, because realistically, there's a lot of regulatory overreach, it seems like, in the space. And it was nice to hear that people are excited about what's happening, and that, hopefully we'll get some congressional, laws on the books at some point. And Tom Emmer was basically letting us know that that's probably going to happen not until 2025, maybe at the earliest, because we're going to have the election cycle coming up here shortly. And, it is where it is right now. But, listening to some of the larger companies that we're building, like the Aves and the Uniswaps and, the makers and everybody that's out there. I mean, I can't tell you how bullish people were on MakerDAO. And MakerDAO is one of those, DeFi OGs. They've been around for, since basically DeFi was there. So having people that are now excited about Maker's endgame, guys. And that was one of the things that they talked about that I wanted to bring up that I thought was really cool. So let's go ahead and...
It's time to drop some alpha.
I love that voice.
If you guys don't know, the Maker endgame is en route right now. And that means that Maker's basically wanting to become the central bank of the entire crypto space. They're having this Maker DAO set up, which right now is going to break off into sub DAOs. And there's going to be a lot that happens here over the next couple of years. But right now they're making over $100 million a year in real world assets. What they're doing is they're taking their DAI and they're being able to purchase T-bills with it at 5 to 5.5% rates, and using some of that to buy back the Maker token, but also offer a huge savings rate on the DAI token. So if you stake your DAI, you're getting a big interest rate bump right now, and that's really cool. I think it was 8%. It may go down, as it gets a little bit saturated here, but that's just an amazing amount for a stable coin. It's basically pegged right now to the US dollar to be able to earn 8%. I mean, what kind of thoughts do you have about that, Sticks and Turn? Is there anything that you saw that you were like, wow, this is really cool? I thought this was some insight that is alpha for everybody out there to know.
No, you mean similar to the Maker one, or my thoughts on the Maker one?
Maker, whatever you thought was one of those cool highlights that you were just like, wow, I didn't realize that. I thought when Vance Spencer was especially mentioning that the Maker token was undervalued completely compared to real world assets that are out there right now, because their market cap was around 900 million and they're making over $100 million a year. So that's a PE of like under 9, so
Yeah.
that was kind of cool. But yeah, what were some of your insights?
So I agree. I was also kind of surprised by Maker because I came in with a kind of bearish sentiment towards Maker, not really based on any research I'd done, just based on, the fact that I've seen DJ Spartan in the past just constantly shit on it. And ever since I've been seeing that, it's been going down. So it's kind of just like, confirmation bias at its finest right there. No research at all. But hearing actually people talk about it and what's going on, it really kind of changed my mind. And also, I've been turning a corner on Solana, and I think this is kind of tangential to the Maker thing, right? That decision by Maker, or at least Rune's kind of statement that this is their goal to do this with the endgame governance system is, or at least endgame and then governance. I don't know if it's like an endgame governance system. That word may be wrong, but either way, it's using the Solana tech. It's a huge endorsement of the tech itself, and so. That also, I think, you start stacking those up and Solana starts looking more and more like it's something that's going to definitely make it to the next bear market or through the next bull market, and even the ones beyond that, right? Which is kind of like the game we're all trying to figure out here with all these different technologies.
Yeah, definitely. I thought that, the Solana that I knew used to be, the end game, I thought, for Ethereum. But now I can understand too that Ethereum is going to be around for a long, long time, and Solana is just another building block on top of that. And what we really found out, guys, and I thought was a little bit more alpha, was that there was, I forget the game session that we were in, but when they started talking about how chains will be spun up when you actually start playing a game, and then the chains will actually be taken down when your game is over, I thought that was really cool. We're not talking about blockchains in terms of this is a static entity that's going to just sit around forever. No, we're talking about blockchains that just they instigate when you start something and they are basically taken off when you end it. So I was like, wow, that would be so cool. And we're not even talking about like, these things that I was just kind of like, boom, blew my mind there for a second. I was like, wow, that's the way that actually all of this should work, is that you have a dedicated basic environment that you're in while you're doing something. If that's DeFi, if that's gaming, if that's, something completely different, music, you have a chain, and that chain is there just for your use. And then when you're done, boom, it's gone and you use no resources. So I was like, wow, these are things that I was just not even privy to, that I thought, wow, these are the kind of cool concepts that come up at these conferences that otherwise I would have been completely lost. But now thinking about it, I'm like, yeah, this has got legs. I think it can definitely run. But yeah, did you get any of those epiphany moments where you were like, wow, this just blew my mind?
That was Ben Jones on the general session, talking about the kind of optimism superchain theory when he was on there with the Arbitrum, with someone from Arbitrum and ZK Sync as well. That's where that quote came from, and so I agree. That one was awesome. KP, I can't top that one at all. I do have something though that I did want to bring up. I want to rewind back to that Uniswap decision. That I just wanted to put another emphasis on that. That court case is huge. It's great to see that the courts are endorsing the arguments that people in the DeFi space have been making for a long time. So yeah, just throwing an opinion on that one. That was another thing that I really liked. But Ben Jones right there, that was the panel where he said it, KP. The guy on the giant screen with the rainbow behind him.
Yeah. Those are the cool moments that, I don't pay attention. You can't pay attention to every single thing that's going on in the space. But when you get those outside, there's differing opinions that you're just like, that actually makes a lot of sense. It just sheds a little bit of light. It starts to brighten up those dark corners of the internet and the blockchain space that, when you think about it, it's like, yeah, this is just technology. We can put it in any direction that we want it to go. It's just, it's there for us to to shape, and hopefully, our elected officials and the people that are in charge will allow people to build on it. There was just so many people that were excited to build really, really cool things on top of blockchain technology. And this Web3 space is developing. It continues to just get bigger and better and more exciting. And I'm stoked to see how it all starts to shake out here. And I know that a lot of our friends were in Token 2029 down in Singapore, hanging out and getting a chance to talk to all of the different Asian cohorts that are out there building in the space as well. But anything that you saw from the other conference that we didn't get a chance to attend that maybe you want to share as well? Anything that you saw that you're like, wow, I wish I would have got a chance to go to Singapore or Korea and hang out for Asian Blockchain Week next year?
So there was a panel that Sunbear was on with another guy that I follow on Twitter, whose exact name I don't remember, but I think it's YGG or something to that effect. But that panel, I was like, oh, I wish I could have attended that one. And I did actually think of a kind of aha moment to kind of respond to your last question, because I copped out of it before going on to Token 2049 completely, because I do have more to talk about there.
Go for it.
Alex, in the session when he said that the purpose of a DeFi protocol isn't to get your users 5% interest instead of 3% interest. It's to make sure that your users don't get a minus 100% return on their investment. And really just emphasizing the purpose of this stuff is supposed to be security. So for all of these people who are doing experimentation, I think that aspect of it, keeping a security focused purpose front of mind, is really good. I'm really glad he was there to say it, because I do think a part of me thinks it was kind of subtextually going after Maker, but I don't have any reason to believe that. That's just pure speculation by me. And then going back to Token 2049, yeah, I think it's cool to see Dreamer, Sunbear, and everyone else there tearing it up and having a really good time. Like I said, that panel that Sunbear was on, I really wanted to be on that one. And then anytime Dreamer shows up for an event, it's going to be fun. He, as you mentioned, he's leading the charge. He's not, taking the back seat. And it's really fun hanging out with him.
Yeah, definitely. So guys, I wanted to just wrap it up by letting you know that everybody should attend a conference. The ones that are closest to you obviously are the easiest, but even the ones that are far away have a ton of things going on. And, Sticks Intern and I got a chance to really kind of bond on this, adventure, get a chance to hang out with some really cool people in the space and get a chance to learn a lot. And that's what life's about. You got to continue to expand your mind, learn a lot, and hopefully get a little bit better every day. So on that note, if you or someone you know is developing a Web3 project and would like to come on the show, please leave a comment down below or direct message me on Twitter. We can set up a time and talk about your project and how you're changing the world and allowing people to own their own digital assets on the blockchain. Until next time, here's another video that I'm sure you're going to love, and let's all help build a more decentralized world together. Thanks for watching.